Good evening, residents of Everett, Washington. I'd like to call to order the Everett City Council meeting of July 24th, 2024. City Council meets all requirements of the State of Washington Open Public Meetings Act. Community members are welcome to join either in person, remote via Zoom, or by calling in. For those who wish to participate in future via Zoom, you can find the instructions to register for public comment on the City of Everett website under City Council Department. Please note, we do not allow comments of any kind of campaigning, whether for or against ballot measures or candidates running for office. We also do not accept comments focused on personal matters that are unrelated to city business. We ask that the audience refrain from clapping, cheering, or booing, and no signage of any kind are allowed in the chambers. We also ask that everyone take a seat and not gather in the entryway area. Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Mayor Franklin. Here. Councilmember Zarlingo.
Yeah, here.
Councilmember Vogely. Here. Councilmember Fossey.
Here.
Councilmember Toohey.
Here.
Councilmember Ryan.
Excused.
Councilmember Bader.
Excused.
President Schwab.
Here. At this time, I'd like to ask Dominic to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Go ahead, push the button.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask Councilmember Vogely to lead the land acknowledgement.
Thank you. The City Council wishes to acknowledge the original inhabitants of this place, the Shtahoksh people and their successors, the Tulalip tribes. Since time immemorial, they have hunted, fished, gathered on, and taken care of these lands and waters. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and water. We will strive to be honest about our past mistakes and bring about a future that includes their people, stories, and voices to form a more just and equitable society.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for approval of the minutes for July 17, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second has been made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Fossey.
Abstain.
Councilmember Toohey.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening. I have no comments this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now it's time for public comment, which includes written comment acknowledgement. Under our rules, written comments shall be considered in the same manner as oral comments. The commenter must provide the name and city of residence. Written comments require this to be made part of the official council record. Well, good evening. Do we have, Angie, do we have any comments or anyone here to speak?
Good evening, President Schwab. We do. We have received the following written comments pertaining to the buffer zone from Jose Villalaz, Katie Vall, and Alexis Boyce. And these have been provided to council, legal, city clerk, and administration to be part of the record. And we have two people on Zoom that would like to say something. So we'll start with Alexander. And Alexander, if you could please state your full name and city of residence once you see the timer on the screen. Just give me one moment, please. Okay, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Go ahead when you're ready.
All right. My name's Alexander Smith. I live in the city of Everett and have done so for the last 10, 15 years. I'm here to make a public comment today. Today, I have no doubt you've heard people come every other week to talk about taxes and property. To make this brief, the Everett and the rest of Washington have been underbuilding housing for decades. What is being ignored in nearly every discussion about this issue is the simple fact that we have a backwards incentive structure for building. For taxes, if you tax a person over something, you make people not want to do it as much. You tax sugary drinks, less get consumed, and demand goes down. Price changes, sometimes supply goes down. You tax property, you get less property built and developed. Future supply goes down, it becomes scarcer. Unfortunately, demand for housing doesn't change as much as soft drinks. Everyone needs a roof over their heads. People can skip out on their soda. We've known the solution to this for over a century. With that in mind, I highly encourage the city to investigate getting rid of our backwards property tax and replace it with an equivalent land value tax, a tax on the unimproved value of land rather than what's built on top. Land is almost entirely static. You can only improve your use of it, not how much there is. Tax encourages people to build more and increases the value of their own property. There's no production to penalize, there is no supply to constrain. It's supported by a lot of groundbreaking economists from Milton Friedman, John Keynes, Adam Smith, and Paul Krugman, to name a few. If Everett implements this policy, we would benefit from additional investment from lots of different groups who want to invest in city. We'd see a lot less empty parking lots and wasted space. Our environment would be protected as urban sprawl would become less of an issue. It compensates people who would be negatively affected monetarily because that would already be accounted for in their taxes. This will bring in more tax money if the city becomes better and better off by these metrics. If any members of the City Council staff are curious, I have a PDF on the International Monetary Fund regarding the efficacy of the land value tax and its progressive nature. The case for this shift is overwhelming, and I strongly encourage us to go through with it for the good of the city. It's simple, good bipartisan policy that will pay off over the next decade. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, if Annie could please unmute and share your camera if possible. State your full name and city of residence, and you have 3 minutes to speak. If Annie, you're ready. She may have stepped away from her computer, so maybe we can just come back and check if she shows up online.
I'm here.
Here she is. Okay, hi Annie. Can you please
Sorry
state your
about that. Hi, my name is Annie Fitzgerald, and I live in Marysville, Washington. So I am here to speak about the homelessness issue that is growing and becoming more of an issue here in Everett as well as surrounding areas. I feel that affordable housing and low-income housing is not readily available for residents. I do realize that there is going to be a new property built in the Delta neighborhood. However, that is going to take time, and this is an issue that needs to be addressed right now. I have personally spoken with multiple unhoused people within Everett city limits, and all they want is a safe space to exist and housing. And I feel like the city is not really addressing this issue, and I would like to speak to someone regarding this issue as soon as possible. The other thing I would like to discuss is accessibility concerns within Everett. So I personally am disabled, and I have met with and spoken with several people about inaccessible ramps that are not up to code, crossing crosswalks and signals that are not appropriately up to ADA code. And I have worked with the Public Works Director in my city of Marysville to address this issue. And I would like to see that this issue is further addressed within Everett as well, because accessibility is crucial for people with disabilities. And so I feel like if we could pay more attention to this issue and perhaps create more funding sources so that more ramps can be available and accessible to everyone with a disability within Everett city limits. I would really like to make sure that this issue is addressed as well. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to speak with council members soon.
Thank you. And that's all we have for public comment.
Okay, thank you for our speakers. Moving on to council comments and liaison reports. Councilmember Zarlingo.
Well, just a quick note, I was privileged yesterday to attend a couple of groundbreakings that I think represent the vitality and quality of life here in Everett with Mayor Franklin and Councilmember Vogely yesterday morning. We broke ground on the reservoir replacement. That's really part of the fundamentals that the city provides for its residents, and we're really fortunate to have such good quality water in ample supply. Also, the groundbreaking for the restaurant row enhancement at the port. A bunch of new restaurants there. Happy to see both investment by the port and by private businesses there, taking risks and providing services for us all, particularly restaurants. And then kind of symbolic of the vitality of Everett, yesterday evening attended the Pinehurst Beverly Park neighborhood meeting, neighbors working to make their neighborhood better, including the Boys and Girls Club there and the Lions Park, and a great briefing by a couple of representatives of our police department. So I think the city functioning as we really hope it would. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Vogely.
Thank you. I don't remember the name of the title of this person that was just hired to replace Unica. And it goes specifically with what Annie Fitzgerald was talking about with accessibility and signals. So I just want everybody to know when I figured it out, or when Jennifer figures it out for me, we do have a new signal person. So that person is in charge of going around and figuring out the timing of crosswalk lights, and I wish I had if I was not second to talk, then maybe I would have figured it out. So there's that, and that was exciting. I learned it at the TAC. And so she was just hired. And yesterday I participated in the groundbreaking for Reservoir 3, which was a delight. Water is life, and sustainable water infrastructure will help keep us healthy for decades to come. In sad news, I learned on Saturday that Mike Jerkowitz of Unit 12 had died suddenly. He spoke at council once. I wish to send his surviving friends and family my deepest condolences. Any death is hard, and especially if it is sudden. Please remember you are not alone, and check in on your people. Another tragic death is that of Sonia Massey. While she did not live in our geographical region, she was part of our broader community. Watching the body cam footage brought forward such a rage within me. And while I've only witnessed decent interactions from our EPD, we've taken on a lot of young recruits, and this is a good reminder to take care to utilize your de-escalation training and forego any unnecessary interactions with folks who have called on you for help. Rest in peace, Mike Jerkowitz, and rest in power, Sonia Massey. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Fosse.
Recently, I was able to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony over at Creative Styles, which was a new business that had opened up in Everett, pretty hip barbershop, and that was really great. We had fun time there. And then we had our stadium fiscal advisory meeting, and I think I'll leave that to President Schwab if he wants to report on that, and the Safe Community meeting, which I will leave to Councilmember Toohey.
Thank you, and thank you for using the word hip. I'm glad I'm still in. Councilmember Toohey.
Yeah, last night I was able to attend the Historic Commission meeting because I believe Councilmember Ryan is on vacation. They talked, I didn't have a big agenda, but they did talk about some Forest Park improvements and how that was going to result in some historic interpretive signage about the buildings and the park itself. So that could be really great because it's a wonderful park with a huge big history. And then tonight we had our Safe Community Committee meeting. We had a update briefing from Emily on the Block Watch, and it sounds like it will be all ready for prime time in October. She's taking in lots of comments from a lot of people around the neighborhoods and folks within the community, and is feeling pretty upbeat about what they're going to come out with in October. We had an update on the last 3 buffer zones that the mayor put into force, and we did receive 3 letters this week. You guys all got those comments from the neighbors around the Campus Health and Andy's Place, who have, I mean, everybody basically says it has improved. They still have challenges, but we know it's not a fix. It's not going to fix everything, but it will help improve. And Jennifer talked about how our staff does work with Compass Health and will continue to work on mitigating the challenges that the neighbors are having. So, and that's about it for my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, a couple of things to report. The baseball stadium finance committee met, and the process of looking at 2 sites, both the current site and a potential downtown site, is still in the works, and they're currently looking at financial options. They have acquired different options, acquiring both state, federal, regional, and other taxes. And not property taxes, of course, but just looked at different options, and I think they're making progress. And I'm hoping to have, or the group is hoping to make a proposal here later this fall on some of those ideas. So more details are coming. Right now, they're really more working on concepts. Also, I attended a Snohomish County Cities and Towns. Thanks to the city staff for doing a presentation. The theme was infrastructure. And Councilmember Zarlingo was really happy about that. As you know, he's into that. So they did a nice presentation on our water system that the city of Everett supplies to 80% of the county. And it's, of course, we had the kickoff here early this week on a water tank. Pretty impressive what we have here in Everett. So that was a very nice presentation. So thank you, Mayor, for your staff and the work on that. At this time, I guess we'll do administrative reports.
No report other than to ask council if you see social media from either State Department of Transportation or the City of Everett to boost that up, to remind folks that probably aren't in your network, that live outside the city, that are traveling through the community, to stay on I-5, even if it's slow. So.
Thank you for that. Do we have anything from the legal department?
Good evening. No update from legal and no request for an executive session.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, this time we'll deal with our consent items. We have consent items 1 through 8. Do we have any, we are good here? Does anyone have any discussion on these items and move to?
I move to accept the 8 consent items.
Okay.
I second that motion.
Okay, motion second made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes?
Councilmember Fosse.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Next, we'll go to proposed action items. Council Bill 2407, item number 9. First reading, adopt an ordinance creating a special improvement project entitled Water Main Replacement Y, Phase 2, Fund 336, Program 042. The third and final reading will be August 7, 2024. Does council have any questions or comments? Councilmember Vogely.
If this is why, we're getting awfully close to Z, and I'm just wondering what's the next. I'm making jokes here, but I know that our water is super important, and we're doing a lot of work to keep it up. So, thank you.
We'll start doubling the letters. Okay. Next, we have action item that is also a public hearing. This is Council Bill, item number 10, Council Bill 2406-13, third and final reading. Adopt an ordinance vacating the remaining alleys in the block bounded by Rockefeller Avenue on the west, Oaks Avenue on the east, and Pacific Avenue on the north, and 32nd Street on the south. Our Parks and Facilities Director, Bob Leonard, is here if we have any questions. I'll now open the public hearing. Angie, are there any members here to speak on this item?
No, there's not.
Okay, is there any questions from council? Okay, Do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second the motion.
Okay, clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes. Do I hear a motion to adopt the ordinance vacating the remaining alleys?
Motion so moved.
Second.
Okay, motion second's been made. Clerk, please take the roll.
Vice President Zarlingo.
Yes.
Councilmember Vogely.
Yes.
Councilmember Fosse.
Yes.
Councilmember Tui.
Yes.
President Schwab.
Yes, and with no further business, we are now adjourned.